Hey everyone, thanks for joining today for another edition of NowRx Office Hours. Just give everyone a couple seconds here. We've done these a couple days in a row where I basically just take question and answers. So the format for the office hours is we assume you've gotten some information about NowRx through seedinvest.com. We have a data room there, our presentation materials, as well as previous webinars which we offer out there on YouTube. Go to our YouTube channel. So we're just going to jump right into Q&A, and if you need more background on the company, again, go to one of those resources, either the Seed Invest website or YouTube NowRx channel. You can get a lot of our overview of the company and the business. There's a specific webinar on technology and competitive landscape and how do you make money in an investment like this. So all that information's out there. We want to make this office hours more productive for people that have already been exposed to NowRx and just have more specific questions. So we'll get into the Q&A. I do have a moderator that's helping curate questions. So you can submit your questions through the chat channel, and we'll curate those throughout this half hour. And we will get these questions posted if I don't answer them. I still haven't posted the ones from yesterday. I got a little busy, but we'll get those questions out, posted on the seedinvest.com NowRx profile. You can go to the comment section there. I'm there every day as well, answering questions this week. So, all right, question number one. What will NowRx use the money they are raising for? So we're going to use the use of funds for this current round are for three different things: expanding our territories that we serve, so the markets in which we operate in. As a delivery pharmacy business, we use micro fulfillment centers and our own delivery and logistics team. And if we don't have a micro fulfillment center in a particular area, we're not going to be able to serve it. So the way we expand the company and grow it is by opening up new territories, signing leases for new micro fulfillment locations, staffing them with pharmacists and technicians, buying cars and delivery equipment and equipment inside, software, robotics, inventory, all of that. So one of the uses for this round will be expanding to new territories across the United States. We've identified 50 new territories across the US, centered around population centers. That's where all the prescription business is. It's where people are. And so we are, identified 50 new territories to expand to. And that's one of the main drivers of this crowdfunding round. The other two uses are to continue to invest in our technology. NowRx is a tech-enabled pharmacy solution. We're a tech company through and through. We have our own quick fill pharmacy management software that runs the pharmacy, and we believe is really the secret sauce to how we're able to create such an exceptional customer experience. The way we collaborate between physician, insurance company, pharmacist, and customer, it's where a lot of the things fall through the cracks in the industry today. And the NowRx quick fill system is a modern approach to pharmacy management systems. We built it all in-house. We connect to that with a driver side app, with a consumer app, with a portal, Quick Connect, that does a closed loop reporting system back to physicians. That just doesn't exist today in traditional pharmacy. So there's a lot of features to our software. We've been working on it for 5 and 6 years now. We have a long roadmap for future development as well. And so a portion of this existing raise will be to continue to push R&D as we go forward. So going to continue to drive that process. And then the third use of funds is to step up our marketing efforts as we accelerate our growth, both in new territories that we expand to and existing territories. So we're expanding our digital marketing efforts and some other areas of advertising, TV and radio and billboards and things like that. So those are the three uses of funds, use of funds for this round: expansion, continued investment in R&D, and increase in marketing. All right, question number 2. What's different about Series C preferred stock? So we're offering Series C preferred stock. This is our 3rd raise on a seed invest platform. Actually, our 4th one. We did a seed round, but we've done a seed round, a Series A, Series B, and Series C, all in crowdfunding under Regulation A. All of those shares, A, B, and C, Series A, B, and C, are all preferred stock. So why is it preferred? It's preferred because during a liquidation, it has preferred liquidation status, right? So common stock is the last to get paid, and preferred stock is the first to get paid. All of this is outlined in what's called the corporate charter, the articles of incorporation, amended and restated. There's a lot of important information. It's not a difficult read. It's 5 or 6 pages. Encourage you to go to the data room at seedinvest.com, pull up the articles of incorporation, and read through it, and it'll tell you very specifically what the rights are for Series A shareholders, the Series B preferred shareholders, and the Series C preferred shareholders. Series A preferred as well. They're all preferred shares. So it's an added layer of protection for investors to protect your investment dollars above that of the common. That's the big difference. And then there's other rights around information and pro rata rights that are also outlined in the Articles of Incorporation. And the other document you should look at is the subscription agreement that's also in the data room that talks about investor rights. What does the exit strategy look like? It's question number 3. So we think this is a great IPO candidate company. The CFO I just brought on board in January, Mark Marlowe, he's taken 2 medtech companies from startup to successful IPO. He agrees this is a great IPO opportunity. We believe huge market, $500 billion annually. We have a highly differentiated customer experience that's driven from our technology, which we believe is defensible. We have 2 patents pending. And so we believe that that's really the best path for NowRx, is to target an IPO in the next several years. A lot of investors always want to ask me, when are you going to go IPO? What's the day? Well, we can't predict that. It depends on what's the economic conditions at the time, what's the IPO market look like, have we continued to execute on our business plan, have we had continued access to growth capital, what's the competitive landscape look like, what's the regulatory environment, has that changed? So there's too many variables to really pick a date now and say we're going to go IPO on January 30th, 2023. Like it's not the way the world works, unfortunately. But the plan is IPO, and that's sort of our plan A. Plan B is we may get acquired by a large strategic, a lot of big players in pharmacy. CVS and Walgreens and Rite Aid is really struggling at the moment. There's a lot of other players that you may not have heard the names as much, but they're really big players in pharmacy. Companies like Express Scripts, which is now owned by Cigna Insurance Company. Caremark is part of CVS. These are pharmacy benefit managers that do a lot of mail delivery pharmacy, as well as managed benefits. There's companies, other PBMs out there like MedImpact. There's a lot of different players in pharmacy. So plan A is go to IPO. Plan B is, we may get preempted and get acquired, don't know. Or we may just continue to raise money and build up, a company with multi-billions in revenue and take over large swaths of market. I mean, either of those options are possible. And there's other options too that may not be as pleasant. This is an early stage startup, and there certainly are risks. Read our offering memorandum. We talk about the risk factors there. Go to, again, it's in the data room, and you can also go anytime you want. NowRx is one of the most highly vetted startup companies you can find. 5 years of audited financial statements, twice annual filings with the SEC. So there's nothing up our sleeves, guys. Go read our financial documents. We talk about risk factors, all of that. I happen to think it's a great investment, especially as we head into potential recessionary environment. Pharmacy is one of the most recession resistant industries, and to take some of your portfolio and put it into a startup company with a chance of a really large exit in a recession-proof industry, I think is a pretty reasonable approach to balancing out your portfolio. So question number 4, can you share some information about the recent leadership hires and your plans to expand leadership and board? Well, yeah, I just mentioned the one I'm really most excited about is our CFO, Mark Marlowe, joined the company in January. And he comes with decades of experience taking med tech companies from startup to successful IPO. His IPOs have been underwritten by companies like Goldman Sachs and all the top names. His last company was called Virtual Radiologist. And they had a really good IPO, and then I think were later acquired. So that's a really great addition to the leadership team. Mark has also hired a controller, financial controller, Joseph Nasrallah, and really excited to have him on board. You'll notice a theme that we're building out the financial leadership side of it. We're also looking to hire an accounting manager on that side. We are transitioning from QuickBooks financial reporting system to Microsoft Dynamics, which is an enterprise grade accounting system. We are bringing in a Big Four accounting firm. So all of those moves are to put in the financial controls and reporting capabilities necessary to build towards an IPO. So that's what we're targeting here, guys. And we're building out that team. And I think we have the team now to really execute on that very well. We recently brought in a director of sales. Our national director of sales, Danny Ikeda, comes from the pharmacy sales side of the industry, brings a lot of experience. A lot of the sales people under Danny have gone on to win major sales awards. So he's a really great leader and someone that can really get the best out of his team. So all of our 10 physician outreach reps report into Danny, and he's been a really great recent hire. We will be bringing in 2 other positions, fairly senior leadership positions, one on the operations side, just sort of day-to-day ops management, and then like a director of ops level. And then on the legal side, someone in charge of legal affairs and being that conduit. So those are kind of the next few kind of senior leadership hires that we're working on. Thanks for the question. Number 5 question. Do you plan to do specialty meds or vaccination too? Yeah, thanks for this question. We're really excited about entree into specialty meds. You need, as a pharmacy, an additional accreditation to be able to handle more complex medications. There's a lot of system changes and processes that you have to put in place. And one of the accreditation organizations is called URAC, URAC, and we have applied to URAC and have gone through several rounds of their approval process, and we're now expecting approval in the next week or 2. So really excited about specialty meds, huge revenue potential. I mean, really massive. Some of these medications are $5,000, $6,000, and $10,000 per dose. Some of them are as high as $80,000 per dose. So going to be a really big new line of revenue for us, and we're really excited about that. Vaccinations, look, we're a delivery pharmacy, and so vaccinations are not really a great fit. Oh, why don't you bring vaccinations to the house? You can do that. You need a nurse then. You're paying for a nurse to travel to someone's home. So, you know, you can get other people trained to do vaccinations. It's not really a great fit for the NowRx model. It's something that we've looked at, and it's something we'll continue to evaluate. But I know everyone wants us to do COVID vaccinations, but you know, the government really took care of that and did a really good job rolling that out, I think. And you know, we're going to leave that to them for the most part. We're a pharmacy business. We know what we're good at. We do 100% same day delivery. And that's the model that we try to achieve. Obviously, if we're out of stock of something, we can't do same day. But we have a very low out of stock rate compared to industry, by the way. So, certain things work really well, and vaccination is just not really a great fit. Number 6, if you think that you have a winning business model and a management system that are 5 years ahead of the competition, why haven't you expanded much more aggressively until now? It's a good question, and it's something that we talk a lot about. A lot of venture capitalists have a similar mindset. And if you read about, what kind of goes wrong when companies go wrong in the venture world, oftentimes it's an obsession about top line growth at the expense of all else. I mean, we can go through the list of companies that have sort of failed spectacularly by just aggressively growing. And I know everybody wants to grow aggressively as you can. You have to do several things, especially in pharmacy. In pharmacy, there are a lot of complexities and a lot of things that can go wrong, right? We've built a lot of software to make sure that things don't go wrong, but there's been a lot of learnings over 5 and 6 years of our history. And we never wanted to grow faster than a pace at which we can still maintain the high level of customer experience, the SLA of delivering everything 2 to 3 hours, even 1 hour delivery, making sure we're coordinating with insurance companies and have all of that resolved seamlessly, coordinating with physicians. There's just a lot going on here. And I know everyone says, oh, pharmacy is easy, just add delivery and grow as fast as you can. I mean, there's way more to the industry than that. Watch some of our videos, go to YouTube, look at our discussion of our technology. There's a technology webinar where I go into some detail. But we are in a really good spot now, and that's why we're raising this round. We are stepping on the gas pedal now. We've expanded into multiple markets. Started out in Northern California. We've now expanded to Southern California and Arizona. We just signed leases for space in Denver, Colorado, Las Vegas, Nevada, Bellevue, Washington, and Houston, Texas. So we are expanding. We are accelerating. We're opening up and targeting 50 new territories across the United States over the next 18 to 24 months. So I think you'll be pleased with the expansion. It took 5 or 6 years to get to a place where we really could step on the gas without impacting the customer experience negatively. So that's been our strategy, and I think it's served us well. If you want to look at our competitors and look at their customer service reviews, their Yelp reviews compared to NowRx, you'll see quite a big difference. And I think that's going to come back and bite them in the butt, frankly. But people can disagree on that topic. But yes, we want to grow as aggressively as we can, but not at the expense of all else, right? The all else is the key. You got to maintain SLA, maintain customer experience, build a profitable model, acquire customers in an efficient way. You can't just throw money out the window just for the sake of growth. You got to be somewhat sensible about it if you want to last for the long haul. Question number 7, delivery system. What is the delivery system? Will it be that outsourcing similar to Uber? No, so we manage our own delivery logistics platform and capabilities, which means not only do we do the routing and the planning all in our software, but we also hire our own drivers. They're our employees. They drive our vehicles. We use electric vehicles, 100% electric. They're a third the cost per mile. They get access to carpool lanes, a third the cost per mile compared to gas, probably a quarter of the cost per mile compared to gas now. I used to always say a third, but given gas prices today, it's more like a quarter. The gig model is a foolish model for a pharmacy and medications. It's a very foolish model. You have narcotics going from pharmacies to patients. You're not even allowed to let that narcotic, as a pharmacy licensed by the DEA, you can't even allow that narcotic to get in the hands of anybody other than a pharmacy person or the patient. You can't just, this isn't like dropping off paper towels at people's front doorstep. Pharmacies, this is healthcare. People's lives are at stake. People depend on these medications. You've got to have all of that logistics and delivery locked down and make it efficient, but safe and reliable. And so we manage all of that ourselves. And frankly, everyone thinks, I mean, not everyone, but I get this question a lot, like, isn't it easier and faster and cheaper just to use Uber or some other, delivery service? And it always strikes me like, why is that so obviously cheaper? Like, you have to pay for a third-party delivery system. That third-party system has to make their own profit. And so you're building in a profit margin for them that has to come from somebody. And so, you're just introducing another mouth to feed. You're also introducing a bunch of handoffs, right? This is healthcare. So if I have a third-party delivery system, how do they know when the refill is coming up next month? Do they know? No, they're not allowed to know. They're not allowed to know that patient's healthcare information because of HIPAA. And so they don't get access to the patient file. It's very difficult to manage with a third party. What if they deliver and the patient says that's not the right medication, they wanted something different? How do they coordinate back to the pharmacy? Again, there's no HIPAA compliance there with a third-party delivery system. So it's an incredibly bad idea to have gig drivers delivering medications. Some people have tried, and I've seen them come and go. But we took a different path. We use micro fulfillment. We use our own drivers. We have chain of custody over those medications from the point that doctor sends that prescription all the way up to the point that is delivered. It's managed by NowRx, our software, our systems, and our personnel. And that's the way it needs to be to really do it justice in this industry. How do investors gain any ROI? Okay, so this is a general question about crowdfunding and investing in startups through Reg A or otherwise. We did actually a webinar on this. Go to YouTube at the NowRx channel. You'll see a bunch of good webinars. One of the webinars is specifically on how do you make money in crowdfunding as an investor. I do an hour-long webinar on that topic. Please go look at it if you have any questions. But there's also some comments on the Seed Invest forum that talk about this. A couple other people have contributed, other investors that are in the finance community that have also put answers out about this. But basically in an equity crowdfunding, a Reg A, you get stock, you own stock. Just like if you invested in a public company, like Tesla. I mean, you can go buy Tesla shares. If you invest in NowRx under crowdfunding, you own shares. The only difference is the NowRx shares are not yet publicly traded. Okay, so you can't sell that share today on a public market. You can sell it to another investor that you find. There's just no public market yet. If we go IPO, again, that's our path, kind of our plan A path, right? If we go IPO, the NowRx stock that you own becomes publicly traded, in which case you can turn around and sell the stock you own that you bought with your investment. You can sell it for cash. Whatever that stock price is valued at that time we go IPO, say we go IPO for $50. I don't know what it's going to be. Let's just use 50 as an example. You bought it for 10, you sell it for 50, you keep the $40 profit. That's how it works. If we get acquired, then if we get acquired by a public company, then the public company would generally give some either cash and or stock for each stock of NowRx. So you would either get cash or you would get cash and stock of this other publicly traded company, or just all stock. You've heard that comment, right? It's an all stock deal. If it's an all stock deal, then you substitute your NowRx stock for someone else's stock that's publicly traded. The second that happens, you turn around and sell the publicly traded stock, right? If it's another private company that buys NowRx, you're usually going to get cash or that private company's stock in return for your NowRx share, and then you will hold off on that share until that company goes public. So that's kind of how startup investing works. Everyone's really targeting IPO. That's generally the best path for exit for investors if you can pull it off. But acquisition is another opportunity to get a return. All right, running up against a half hour here soon. Try to get to some more questions. It looks like we've got 2 more here so far. Keep the questions coming, guys. Question number 9, what is the minimum population of cities that NowRx intends to expand to? We target all the major metropolitan areas across the United States. The minimum population is about 2 million. For a broader metropolitan statistical area. So go to Wikipedia, look up MSA, Metropolitan Statistical Area, look at all the MSAs. There's a table in there, 1 to 100. That's the target. That's where prescriptions are. They're where the people are. And so where all the people live, the census guys call it a metropolitan statistical area, basically in and around big cities. That's generally the plan. Is NowRx's business model not profitable in low population and rural areas? Yeah, that's generally true. You're not going to find a delivery model like NowRx in rural areas. There's not enough population density to make the delivery efficient. We have drivers that do 5, 6, 7 stops per hour, right? You've got to have a pretty dense populated area to be able to pull off that kind of delivery. And you need to have good market penetration as well, which we do in our larger markets. It's not really a great model for rural. The fact is, even pharmacy, generally speaking, isn't great for rural. If you've been reading the news in pharmacy, there are what they call deserts, like pharmacy deserts, where there's not even, is there not a delivery pharmacy, but there's not even a CVS or a Walgreens local, because they just don't have enough volume to be able to support a pharmacy. So not sure what the answer is there. Some people have talked about drones and other things. We'll see, but out of 500 billion annually, about 75% of that is in the top 50 cities. So there's plenty of business just focusing on the big cities. Trust me, that's where all the prescriptions are. We don't have to worry about rural areas for now. Question number 10. What differentiates NowRx from Alto? Based on their marketing, they appear to have greater market locations penetrations at the moment. Alto is, they built the company, Alto Pharmacy, you can check them out. They started in San Francisco. They really built that company up around specialty pharmacy. So fertility is a big area where they play in. They do some other things around hepatitis, dermatology, they play in a little bit. And that's really the way they built that company up. These are really expensive medications. Fertility is like $70,000 per dose. It doesn't go through insurance. It's a different type of business. It'd be like saying, if I'm going to sell cars, I'm going to sell electric cars. Do I sell Teslas or do I sell the Rivian truck? Trucks, like there's already successful truck companies out there, like Mack Truck. When I was growing up, Mack trucks were the big truck makers, right? They're in transportation, but they're not selling passenger cars. And that's what Alto does. They're selling the big trucks, right? NowRx is selling passenger cars. We're going mainstream pharmacy. We do all of your medication needs, antibiotics, pain medications, cholesterol pills, any kind of medication that you would get at a CVS or a Walgreens. You wouldn't get fertility pills at a CVS or Walgreens, right? That's the area of specialty pharmacy, and that's really where Alto focuses, and that's how they've built the company. But again, it's $500 billion industry. There's room for more than one specialty player in there for sure. All right, so look, coming up on the half hour, this is another good office hours. I think it went well. A lot of good questions. Please go to our YouTube channel, NowRx's YouTube channel. There's tons of information and webinars that we've recorded over the last few weeks during this crowdfunding raise. If you do want to invest, Friday is the last day for this Series C. And, we'll be out on the forum too at seedinvest.com. Look at the NowRx profile. You can put questions in there. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everyone.